it was kind of a weird week, wasn't it? Because for a lot of people, it was like that work week started last Wednesday, so everyone was sort of slack, and once you get into it, then it's Friday, and then you're done, and now it's Monday again, and you're not sure if you should be unhappy. Because
you should be unhappy because you're back at work. And like to say good morning to you, except for most of you watch this on demand, and so it could be afternoon. So
could be 3 in the morning.
Could be 2 in the afternoon. So hope you're having a good day.
Whenever you love you.
Yeah, and shouldn't you be working? Shh.
No, you shouldn't.
Don't tell anybody. All right, coming up, Mountain Cam.
Oh, yeah. Good morning. It is, of course, the Black Diamond Mountain Cam, Black Diamond Experts, Electric, Plumbing, Heating, and Air. And then we've got some really cool stories coming up today. First of all, your hands, the lines on your hands will tell you if you're a nut job or not. Number 2, a drone prison break. Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with a drone.
Oh, that sounds epic.
So great news locally as far as businesses going on.
And 300-person beach fight. Yeah.
Which is,
to me, that's just, it sounds like the name of a really bad, like, 60s surf movie.
That's one of my go-go.
300-person beach fight. And there's somebody singing. Yeah. Okay, no, actually, we are number 2, twice.
We're number 2.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Provo is. The Wallet Hub just barely came out with their new survey, and this is the best managed cities. Wallet Hub. And they basically do a lot of economic stuff, like they see who's best for business, who's best for jobs. But the way they determine a best managed city is basically what are the services you're getting for the taxes that you pay to the city.
Okay.
And they found out that Provo was number 2 in the nation, which I thought was really cool. Best managed, number 2 in the nation.
All right.
And also by Forbes magazine, they said this is the second best place for businesses and careers. Like if you're starting your businesses or if you're trying to build your career, Provo is number 2 in the nation.
I have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with you, Provo. I just have a problem with this. This is like when you say, oh, the best pastrami sandwich in the world. Did they try every single pastrami sandwich?
Well, yeah, but when you're looking at hard data and numbers and blah, 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 and blah, 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 that's easy to do. You just do a comparison chart of all the different elements.
So they checked Edna up by Tooele.
It's the 150 top cities in the nation.
That narrows it down, but did they really look at 150?
Yes, they did. They did. Forbes magazine does those things.
I'm sure. And Provo, wonderful. Good for you.
Congratulations. We're very happy for you.
All right.
God, you're so sinister today. I
am.
Okay, speaking of like little towns that are wonderful, Logan, Utah must have the most amazing police force in the entire world.
Why is that?
Tell me something good. You would not consider this part of the Protect and Serve motto, but there was a Logan police officer, Christiane Johnson, and he was deployed to a blind woman's house after she dialed 911.
Okay.
And she's, obviously sight impaired. She was very, very elderly, about 90 years old. Okay. And when he came, she goes, "I'm very sorry." She said, I don't really have an emergency. She said,
"What?"
But her only means of cooking was her microwave because she can't really use a stove when she's sight impaired.
Right.
She goes, "My microwave's broken and I haven't been able to eat anything hot for like 4 days."
Oh.
And so some people might go...
She had no family?
Yeah, and some people might go, "Look, lady, this isn't my problem." So he said, "I can do that." And so he started fixing the appliance. He took care of it. He was working through it and got it set. And he was joking. He said, "Is there anything else that I can do for you?" And she said, "Could you sing a song?"
What?
And there's this video, this epic video of this sweet man singing "You Are My Sunshine" while he's fixing her microwave. And he goes, "I must warn you that I have a terrible voice, but I do sing with gusto." And so he belted out "You Are My Sunshine" while he fixed her microwave.
Logan, Utah.
And she said, "I will never forget the day of what he did for me, the events of this day. It's been wonderful." But the sweet thing is he actually came back a couple days later with his wife and kids, and they brought by a lot of food and some casseroles. And
Spent some time, that's all she wanted.
And the funniest part is that he made his kids sing a song that time because they're a lot better than I am. They're selling my wife.
That is pretty cool.
You have to admit, for a police officer who has a myriad of other, like, deadly items to take care of.
Well, maybe it's just a nice break.
Probably so. Yeah. He's like, "No one's going to try to kill me. I'm just going to fix a microwave."
Just going to fix a microwave.
But anyway, Officer Johnson, I think you're wonderful.
Good job, guys. Well, guess what? Amazon is coming to town.
Now, we've had a lot of Amazon Prime. We have a warehouse, but that's way down south. This is something brand new, right?
They call it the Regional Fulfillment Center.
We're fulfilling your every need.
We're going to send you a marshmallow hula hoop.
Because they have one.
They probably do. That's funny. Regional fulfillment. $250 million dollar building. 855 1,000 square feet. So this is a big one. 1,500 jobs.
This is going to be out by the airport, right?
Yeah, past the airport.
1,500 jobs.
Yeah, and they gave him some tax stuff, some tax credits.
I'm very sure
just
of
to
that.
get him in here. But 1,500 jobs. That's a lot of gigs.
See, I couldn't handle that job for one reason. That is because there is way too much retail there. They'd be going, "Hey, go get the the marshmallow
boxes.
hula hoop," and I'd be like, "What's in there?"
There's a box.
I'd want to open it up. I'd have to. I'd spend the whole day just playing through the closed section. They would fire me by like lunch.
We ordered a charging cord for my laptop, and Prime will get it here in 2 days, which is really exciting. But now with Amazon being in town, it'll be like this. Take your finger, you push the enter button, and you purchase, and you go like this. Purchase. It's at the door. It's going to be that fast.
Probably.
It's going to be awesome.
Bing, here it is.
It's like 2-minute delivery.
I know, isn't that nice?
It's going to be awesome.
Okay, what is this thing about yoga? Because we've seen goat yoga.
Oh, this is
We've seen Birkham yoga, which of course is
stop for a
120
sec.
degrees
Stop.
and you're going to die.
Just stop. The whole thing is upsetting to me.
Why?
Because it's not like one thing is good enough for anybody anymore.
No, it's got to be trickier.
They've got to make it different. And, well, here it is. This is the new summer fad. And this is, you go yoga, and check this out. You're in a pool suddenly, doing your
Floating
yoga.
yoga. Oh, so they're using surfboards, paddleboards, and they do yoga on the paddleboards?
It's ridiculous.
No, but look, it would actually be really good for your core because you'd be having to balance the whole time.
It's ridiculous.
No, but look at that.
Okay. Look at this picture. Okay. And this is a still picture. Because if it was, she'd be wiggling back and forth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What's yoga based on? Tranquil? Concentration?
Yeah, but it's also
Focus.
based on building your core.
Focus and aligning everything. This is like that bicycling underwater thing. It's like, oh, let's combine two things that don't belong together. And you know who I blame this on? I blame this on the biathlon during the Winter Olympics where you ski and then shoot guns.
Well, that came from Scandinavia. It's a long winter.
Two things that don't belong together necessarily, and all of a sudden it's great. And it's like, how about full contact yoga, where people actually come in and knock you on your butt every time you get the downward
dog.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Or police dogs are led into the room. So when you're doing the facing down dog thing, they come in and just grab you right by the thing. It's just a job.
What is wrong with you?
I just have one of those mornings going. Actually,
You always have one of those mornings going.
It's a Monday.
All right, maybe we just need to go to Daisy in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom.
Probably so.
Basically, some solidity here for this rapidly declining show. Of course, Daisy's brought to you by Robert J. DeBry. If you need Robert J. DeBry and Associates help, they have offices in Salt Lake City, Sandy, and St. George. Go to robertdebry.com. Executive Transportation, where our friend Marge can take you to the airport or an elegant evening out with equal flair and verve and affordability. Just go to Executive Utah to book your ride. And All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air 24-hour service. Just go to allutahplumbing.com. Good morning, Daisy. What's going on?
Hello, everyone. Here's what's making headlines on GephartDaily.com. West Valley City Police have a suspect in custody after a Sunday morning shooting that left one man dead and sent a second to the hospital. 36-year-old Marshall Heron was booked into jail after police interviewed witnesses. The body of 35-year-old Jason Bull was found at the scene. A 32-year-old man was also shot but is expected to survive. 3 teenage boys will be sentenced today about 8 months after the car they stole and struck and killed West Valley City Police Officer Cody Brotherson. The boys, who had been charged with murder in the juvenile court case, pleaded guilty last month in exchange for reduced charges. Relatives of Officer Brotherson will be in court and are expected to share thoughts on their loss and the case's resolution. And firefighters from multiple agencies battled a blaze in low-income apartments in South Salt Lake on Sunday. Residents evacuated from 18 units included refugees and people who were homeless before qualifying for a space in the building, which is owned by Salt Lake County. The county and the Red Cross are working to find replacement housing for those displaced. No serious injuries were reported. And the weather today is finally getting out of the triple digits. It'll hit 98 today, 97 Tuesday and Wednesday, and there's about a 30% chance of storms today, which would be a welcome break for everyone. That's it for now. More news 24/7 on GephartDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
All right, so we are thinking about saying thank you to you.
It's the big thank you.
It's a big thank you because this thing has gone like 4.5 months. It's just
I think we're almost. If we don't crack 1 million views today, it will be.
of all our shows,
I think it's tomorrow.
and they're on demand.
We're not sure why. Apparently, you have more free time than we thought,
So-
or a higher paying threshold.
So we're going to send you to dinner.
Yeah. Christopher's. Now, if you haven't been there before, Christopher's Prime Steakhouse is glorious down on Pierpont Avenue in Salt Lake City. They have a filet that you can cut with a butter knife. I mean, it's beyond,
Their mashed
it's beyond
potatoes.
decadent.
Their mashed potatoes and side dishes are incredible, by the way.
I've actually taken the meat home before and just done the sides. But the important thing is this. We want to send you and 3 of your friends. You can have a wonderful night, relax. You do not have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about a designated driver because executive transportation will be taking you there in a limo and bringing you home. So it's the perfect non-effort night that you don't have to worry about. All you have to do to win is go to one of our 3 Facebook pages. That would be Get Part Approved, Get Part Daily, or at the Todd and Erin page. Just like, comment, and share on today's show. And you're entered. It's just that simple. And then on Friday, we draw another winner.
All right. I'm having trouble. We're on Facebook Live right now. See if anybody wants to yell at us.
Good morning, Ann. Good morning, Thursday.
The thing is, they keep inventing and giving us these new things, but they never tell you. And does that bother you at all?
Like what?
Well, it's the last
Like they
one.
just spring it on you when you go to the store and
The
it's like
memory
there?
thing. The memory thing. It's here's a memory of you a year ago.
Oh, yeah, Facebook.
And then it's something horrible. And it's like, some people are like, well, I got divorced today. And they go, remember a year ago?
Oh,
And it's a picture of you being divorced.
like, thanks. That's so inspiring.
And then the other thing was, if you watch a video now, this actually works out pretty good if you're watching our show. And you click on the next thing, and that picture, that little video goes up in the corner, and you can watch it as you're scrolling.
I did not know that.
See?
When did this happen?
They didn't send you a menu, a text, or a
Memo,
message.
like, hey, this stuff's coming
a
up.
Post-it note. There was nothing. And all of a sudden now, which is
I
kind
didn't
of
know
cool, because you can watch a video, watch our show, as you scroll down and talk to your other friends, and, we're taking care of you and being your friend up here in the corner, which is great. And now you can answer with memes. Now here's the problem. You know this, right?
I love memes.
Okay, I do too. But all of a sudden, somebody said, hey, tell us about your favorite movie, and answer only in memes and GIFs, GIFs. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself...
You said this was cheating. You were all displeased by it.
I didn't know. I thought people were really going and digging this, and there's different software that you can make memes. I have one of those.
You're thinking about GIFs, aren't you?
GIFs. I keep saying memes. I'm sorry. And so you can actually go and make them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm thinking everybody's going and doing this. Everybody's really digging, really finding that thing. And George Costanza saying shrinkage and all these different things. And then I see on the right-hand side that there's a button for GIFs, and you can pick one.
They do that on Twitter, sweetheart.
That's cheating.
I don't think so. It's a delightful punctuation to your statement. I mean, most people don't have all day to go out and make their own gifts.
They should, because I thought, what a
I don't
great...
know how to make one. I can know how to steal them.
I know how to make them.
Have you ever made one?
Yeah. I made 3 over the weekend, then I found out you can go and steal them.
And you felt cheated?
I felt more than cheated.
That your effort had not been properly appreciated?
There's 2 hours I'll never get back.
I'm sorry, honey.
Oh, and by the way, I'm going to do this now since I'm on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
The thing where you write your stuff and you put it on a big colored block.
Mm-hmm.
Hate it.
Why?
Because it looks like an advertisement or something, and it could be a really nice message. And you write this, and then you put it.
Yeah, it almost does look like an ad to me. I tend to skip over them because they're.
I know, I do too.
So you might be saying really something amazing, like we're having a baby, and I'll like.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Looks like an ad for having a
yeah,
baby.
it's a good point.
All right. This is going to be, I'm thinking, my favorite story of the week.
Boy, that's a tall order. It's just Monday.
And it's not a big, crazy story, but it's just a really cute story.
All right, hit me.
All right. So this couple, and they are in New York. And so they decided they were going to do some remodeling. And they had to find out down some wall that they had to punch a cable through, okay? And so they're thinking, well, how do we do it? They couldn't figure out how to do it. So what the guy did, and this is really interesting, he took this little portable, this kind of alarm clock before phones that you would take on a trip, traveling, like this. Mm-hmm. It's a very small one.
Sure, an old-fashioned one,
right.
sure.
And he tied a string around it, and he lowered it down the heat duct. and he had the alarm going off.
Oh, that is such a good idea.
Until he got to where they wanted it. And they tied it off, and he went down in the basement, and he listened to the wall, listened to the wall, and he said, right there. And they punched a hole through.
That's freaking
Unfortunately,
genius.
it hit the alarm clock, and the alarm clock, it let go of the string, and it fell down into the wall, between the walls.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And
How long has it been ringing for?
13 years.
That's not possible.
So it's
That is not possible.
So it stopped ringing, but it was set for 7:50. It's
So every
night.
day.
Every night at 7:50, the alarm goes off, and it goes off in their wall. And at first, it was really annoying, kind of like a smoke detector that's chirping, and you can't find out which one it is. And
We've done that before until you eventually hit each one with a broom handle till you've knocked them all down.
And then your house could burn down because you
have
don't
to
care.
start all over
you
again.
don't care about your family. It's like taking the battery out for the remote. By the way, it's the same thing. So anyway, they're doing some
13 years.
13 years on a Duracell battery. They said Duracell. That's
Boy,
what
that's
I said.
one heck of an advertising opportunity.
But if you remember, I gave you a present when I was first admiring of you.
We should have brought it with us.
I know. So it's a Star Trek emblem.
It was our very first. It was your very first present you gave me,
It was.
and it's because you knew that I was a sci-fi nerd, and so you gave me, and it's the little emblem that sticks right here.
And I was working my way into her heart.
And then when you press it, it goes ee, and it does a little chirping thing that it
it's the
does in the
lights
old
flash.
school, like first generation Star Trek.
So we found it, and surprisingly enough, we pushed the button, and
20 years later, it still chirps.
on the same battery. You know what that means? Good batteries, true love. So, here's the thing. So they were doing some more remodeling, and they had to bust out a wall, and there it was. So the construction guy, takes it up and hands it to him. And they're looking at this, and it became kind of a joke when it would go off every night. Didn't wake them up, they were already bad. It didn't go off early. And so they took it,
750 is not,
they put it on their mantle, and they let it go off at 7:50 every night.
That is adorable.
And they'll be playing cards or something, it goes off, and they're like...
Remember that time we put it down the wall?
Oh.
And it was there for 13 years.
I think that's funny. I think that's a great story.
That is the most interesting. Yeah, because you would think that they would just be infuriated and enraged, and eventually I'd be going after the drywall with a sledgehammer trying to find this thing.
You would.
And they just kind of let it go.
Well, they got so used to it.
They're much more zen than I am.
I know.
See, if I'm going to have anyone go after something in my wall with a sledgehammer, that's why I would call Black Diamond experts. Because if you're going to do heating, plumbing, air, electrical, you would like to call somebody who knows what they're doing. This is why I like these guys. Number one, Black Diamond's wonderful in the community. And if you haven't had a chance to hear about this, we had Tim, the general manager, in last week. They do so many different things where they swap out like water heaters and air conditioners. And they help the sweet lady who was just elderly, who was suffering in the heat, and they replaced her air conditioner for free. They're really into our community, and they do so many free things. But it's nice to know that when they come to your house, they're licensed, bonded, and insured, because as a mom, I want to know who I'm letting into my house to fix something. I do. And when they give you a quote, that's the quote they stick with. They don't suddenly slap on a bunch of extra charges. So if you're looking for someone like that, you need an expert. blackdiamondexpert.com. Trust me, you're going to like these guys.
All right, so coming up next, how your hands will tell us if you're going to be a serial killer. Just with your hands. It's coming up next.
Todd and Erin's Morning Stream, brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. Electric, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. You'll be glad you called an expert. The law offices of Robert J. DeBry and Associates, with offices in Salt Lake City, Sandy City, and St. George. Check them out at robertdebry.com. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is actually available anytime at gephardtdaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page.
All right, first generation. Your story has to do with first generation. First generation what?
Well, these are first generation college graduates. And if you think back, I remember my mom talking about, I think it was my great-great-grandfather, who was our first college graduate here in the country. We came from Scotland, and
For your family.
just like you did, and settled down in Hurricane, Utah.
Hurricane.
But it's a big deal.
Hooper.
That first one who graduates from college, and
It
it's
is.
like a huge point of pride.
It is a huge thing.
And so when you're looking at immigrant families now, who are basically going through that cycle now that we all went through as established Americans,
And these immigrants
multi-generations
from
ago.
anywhere in the world.
Exactly. Well, it's interesting. Debbie Samaniego is a perfect example. She never thought she'd be able to make it to graduate school. She didn't even know about college. But she got her bachelor's degree. She went through all the financial struggles, worked really hard. Now, at Westminster College, they have the McNair Scholars Program. And it's interesting. It's a federally funded project. And it offers low-income and underrepresented college students some resources that would help them prepare for grad school.
Okay.
Because they're like, we want to give you a foot up, a hand up for the next step.
Grad school's hard.
Oh, it's well, it's pretty
It's like
cool.
healthcare.
Because on Friday they got to present their studies based on human rights,
Okay.
and it's a really unique perspective if you think about what they're doing as a first generation college student. And she focused on problems faced by migrant workers. And there were 4 different ones, like, for instance, violation of favorable work conditions, fair wages,
Right.
that their conditions didn't have to be safe or healthy
Right.
because they didn't overlook it, lack of adequate housing, and then silenced when they attempted to speak out against the issues.
Right.
And she said the root of the issues begins with border lines between countries, and she had a really interesting way of putting it. She said the rules about what makes someone a citizen and grants certain rights and what excludes other people. She said there's an arbitrary line, if you come right down to it, that makes you a citizen or a non-citizen, and it's something that's drawn by other people, and it gives you either the rights of safety and security and income,
Right.
or it doesn't. And just the concept of that she thought was really intense. I mean, it was a really emotional moment that really it could be something that small and arbitrary that decides whether you're a human being or not.
So that was her presentation.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. She said that no matter who they are, these humans deserve better. And she had some fascinating research where she was talking about, like, press coverage, for instance. If you think about how people are perceived in the press and what people say about them, the majority of U.S. news sources either use the word refugee or the words illegal immigrant. And if you use the term refugee, it was generally a positive focus, that these people are coming here for a better life. The term illegal immigrant was always focused on criminality and
can see that.
violence, drug issues.
Right.
And this was one thing I thought was really nice. Debbie found that here in Utah, the abundance of news sources about immigrants or refugees, one way or another, tended to focus a lot with work what the LDS Church did with human rights and refugees around the world, and it was
Okay.
generally a positive focus. She said our state tended to be more positive in the press when it focused on refugees or immigrants than most of the other states. And internationally, she said the worst was actually Italy. That they used more degrading terms and more offensive terminology for other countries, and it was interesting to see who actually focused on and treated people as human beings and who didn't.
One of the things that about Utah is the fact that so many Utahns went on missions. So they've traveled, and they traveled abroad. They traveled to different states and stuff,
Different countries,
which
yeah.
gives them more of a sensitivity to different parts of the world, as opposed to someone who's just stayed in the same place the whole time. But they can come back and share that experience, and then and how that expands the social structure.
No, I remember that vividly though, because there was a woman in the supermarket, and I think she was Sudanese, as I recall, and she knew a little English, and she was trying to ask for something for a medicine,
Right.
and you could tell the pharmacists were trying to help her. It was down at Smith's. They
Right.
were trying,
Right.
but this guy just stepped up. This young guy, he's like 25, and he just started talking to her in rapid fire.
Right.
And she was like, the look on her face,
Finally.
like, oh, thank you. She was
Right.
so grateful, and he had been on a mission to the Sudan, and it had been several years
what I
before
mean.
they'd closed the borders, but
Right.
he knew, and
Yeah.
and he was able to help her. And that is one thing, you're right, that here in the state we have a lot more accessibility to language and more willingness to help those who are from the outside.
On a side story, our neighbor went to Germany for pre-World War II, and he went on a mission, and then they called him back because he could speak German, and then he became an interrogator.
For the CIA.
So I trim my bushes on that side of my house really carefully.
Yes, Jim, is it good
All
for
right.
you? Everything.
Let's find out if you're crazy or a murderer or something. All you need is your two hands. Your two
Now,
hands.
does this what track like sociopathic behavior? What are you looking for here?
Well, I've given you the things. Hang on one
All right,
second.
here
I'm
we
coming
go.
over to the camera.
Now, I've done a lot of palm reading, and so it's interesting when they talk a lot about,
Right.
the heart line or the love line.
So this is the line we're talking about, right there. And you have one on this hand as well. and that's right there.
Now, this is the line that has to do with love and affection, children, relationships, those kind of things. Now,
Wait.
all right.
Okay, back to this. So you line up your pinkies like this, and then what you're looking for is you're looking at if that line is like that.
Oh, nice.
Or like that. All right, so go ahead.
Alrighty, so, okay, if the left hand is higher than the right hand line, those individuals do not believe that love is a necessary factor in their life. For happiness, they're completely content on their own. So they may be willing to go a long time to find the right person. They may not feel as big a need to date, or they may decide to get married or have a relationship for different reasons.
That's not
Maybe
me.
Convenience, or just the simple fact of, I want to have children, and that's really what's necessary.
Okay.
They tend to be very self-confident, and they're willing to work through the tough times because they don't go as much into the emotional side of it. Okay, and if the love lines on both hands are at the same level,
That's me.
you take love very seriously.
I do.
You prefer to be in constant long-term relationships.
I am.
You're not afraid of the time and the energy and the dedication it
Not
takes to make it a
afraid
happy
at all.
relationship. They value the steady routine. It's very important to them, and they're
do.
highly disturbed when things change, especially in the last minute.
Not highly, but yeah, I live. Yeah.
You hate change, and
I
you
hate
hate
change.
surprises.
I hate surprises.
You will never let me surprise you.
I will never.
Okay, if the left hand is lower than the right hand, these people are the old souls. They're wise beyond their years. They have a unique outlook on life, and they're not one to fall into the trends of modern society. They kind of really go like on their own speed. They're very intuitive, and they possess a sixth sense that is rarely, if ever, wrong. I think I'm pretty even, aren't I?
I think you're pretty even.
We have been married 20 years. We have to have something in common.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll put this up, by the way, on getpartdaily.com if you want to go take a look on the Todd and Erin page. I'll put up the whole study so you can see it, and then you can secretly compare and see if your spouse or the person you want a relationship with is crazy or not.
South Carolina prisoner escapes.
That's scary.
Yeah, the Carolina Department of Corrections said on Friday. They caught him. They eventually caught up to him, and he had a pump shotgun. He had $47,000 in cash, a couple cell phones with him. But here's how he did it, and this is weird because we have a good drone. Our drone doesn't fire.
It's a good drone.
Doesn't fly near forest fires and inhibit the planes from dropping their stuff. It doesn't spy on people. It shouldn't be. It's a good drone. Well, evidently this drone, first of all, he makes a dummy, right? This is like Alcatraz. And he puts it in his bed and covers it up a little bit. So then they think, oh, he's sleeping. Bob's still there. He's fine.
He's sleeping.
He's not. He's gone. And basically they had a drone came over and dropped the wire cutters into the yard.
That is so epic.
At night. And that's when he went and found him, and he put him in his pocket, and then he just started cutting his way out. This is his second time escaping, by the way.
That's amazing.
Of a maximum security prison.
Oh, wait. This is a jailbreak. I should probably be like, oh, that's terrible.
That is terrible.
It's terrible.
So,
that is so sneaky, though. Oh, my gosh.
And they've done it before. Do you remember they used to, the one guy he wanted to be in communications, and so what they did is they strapped a cell phone to a cat and let the cat go.
Cat's like, this isn't a good idea.
Through the fence, and it's vibrating,
There's guards up there. Man, I only have a couple lives left.
And then
Poor
they found
baby.
some other cats doing the same thing, but had drugs taped to them.
That is just mean-spirited. These
Well,
poor
especially when you
cats.
take the tape off. Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Be like getting a bikini wax.
Oh, I'm so sorry, kitties. Oh, my gosh.
So anyway.
No, I like the drone better.
All right.
It's not as uncomfortable. Walmart cowboy.
Yeah, so here's the deal. So a lady is sitting there. She's taking her bike. She's gone to Walmart to get her stuff.
All right.
Something made in China, perhaps. And she goes inside. She comes out, and someone's stealing her bike.
Ooh, I hate that.
Somebody's stealing her bike, and they're riding away on their bike. So she's screaming at him, going, "You best person who's stealing my bike, stop it." Well, everybody turns, and they go, "Oh, he's stealing the bike. Nothing we can do about it."
Really?
Except for this one guy. And yes, he is a cowboy. So what he did is he turned around, he got out of his truck.
Pulled off his cowboy boot and threw it at him and hit him in the head?
Nope. Walked around to the horse trailer he's pulling and backed his horse out of the horse trailer
No way.
He was still saddled, so I'm not sure why. Because the bike guy's now riding.
No freaking way.
This guy is hauling ass. That.
Oh
And
my
then-
God, look at him.
So the cowboy
Oh, no way.
hanging on the horn of his saddle is a lariat, and he ropes him,
You
and he
have
brings him. Look at him.
got to be kidding.
He's hanging onto a tree, and his legs
Oh, that is-
are bound together. And if you ever know how they do this, the horse is like constantly backing up a little bit and putting tension on the rope.
And you can see that too. He's rather uncomfortable.
And then he just waited till the cop showed up, and she got her bike back.
That is the funniest thing I have
Isn't
ever
that
seen.
so funny? And just
No, but just this sad little posture, like thump. I mean, he looks just about as pained as you can possibly be.
and what a great opportunity to be a cowboy.
And what excellent instant karma.
And seeing this thing happen in front of you, and it's like the Old West, and he went, "Excuse me, ma'am,
I'm
I'll
gonna
help out."
Back up my horse. And
Because he's right here. And
who does that?
This cowboy does. That's who does it.
That is so epic.
I know.
All right, coming up next, I know that it was like 105 degrees all weekend and we all marinated in our own sweat, but Slide the City came into town.
No. The cool thing is they're coming again.
And they're coming back?
Yeah, so this will give you a kind of an idea of what it's like.
Okay, this is going to mentally cool us all. It's coming up
Yes.
next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com.
And also by Columbus Travel. If you go to columbusvacations.com, you can sign up for a weekly newsletter that always has great last-minute deals on hotels, airfare, cruises, and more.
Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
Okay, this is pretty nice because we really will have to take Zoe and Zach to this because this looks spectacular. Now, Slide the City's been here before in Salt Lake City, but this is the first annual Slide the City in Daybreak. They did it down on Kestrel and Lake Avenue. And if you think about it, though, what a perfect way to have fun. And it's like the endless amounts of sliding. I've always wanted to know how they did this. Over 2,000 people showed up for this. Look how fun that is. Now, Richard, being the lunatic that he is, I'm actually genuinely shocked he didn't get on a tube and do this. But he gave a GoPro to some of the kids, so you have to check this out. It's really fun.
Look at that.
I like all the
didn't know-
screeching in the background.
I didn't know it was so long.
It's incredible. And I think that you can do all-day passes where basically you will just slide endlessly for more or less the rest of your life.
And this is going to go on.
I like that he knocked her.
So they end up at a pool, and that's what stops them. It's coming to Salt Lake City, too, coming up.
Okay, we're so going to have to do
Yeah,
this.
I think so, too.
Alrighty, that makes me laugh. Especially the part where he knocked into the other girl. I'm sure that was...
Oh, yeah, they go down. You
awkward.
can go down like 8 people at a time, and like just, yeah. So
Death grip.
It's fun.
I know
yeah.
we'll have to do that. All right, free and fun today. Now, our goal this summer is to make sure that every day you try something different, and especially if you've got kids or you've got friends and you never do
This is-
anything that's like more unusual.
And this has been a beating. I mean, having to hide from the heat. It has been.
That's why
It's really hard.
I've chosen a lot of indoor things. West Jordan Library, they've got something for kids that's really interesting. It's called Discover Earth. It's our changing planet. This is a huge traveling exhibition. It's in their Viridian Events Center. And it basically talks about ecosystems, the web of life, environmental change. And you walk the kids through it, and it's fascinating. And it's almost like you made them learn something at the same time. So West Jordan Library, they open at 10, and you can go all throughout the day.
And a lot of libraries have programs going on during the summer, too.
Oh,
You can just
especially the
check
reading
your-
programs.
Just
They're
check
so
your
fun.
local one, yeah.
Exactly. Pete's Dragons playing up at Snow Basin Resort. This is their free movie on the mountain series, and this is every Monday throughout the rest of the summer.
That's cool.
You head on up, free admission. You throw down a blanket.
It's cooler.
Take a look out at the stars. They've got food available if you want to grab something to eat, but it's just wonderful to be able to relax. And so, anytime after 6 o'clock, go stake your claim. They'll get started with the movie. Nice thing to do with the kids.
This is the modern version of the drive-in movie, isn't it?
I hadn't thought of that. You're absolutely
Right?
right.
So
And the movies in the park.
Did you
and the
used
ones
to
that-
go?
Oh, drive-ins? Yeah, totally. And we'd
So,
all
but-
wear our pajamas, and you
Right.
pass out in the back seat on the second feature.
I think there's like 2 left.
There really are some left.
The Redwood Road one, where they do the swap meets, is one, and there's another one too. We should do this.
We should do like a whole like morning stream movie night. where all of us show up and take over the entire park.
And so some people do is they turn their trucks around backwards.
Yeah.
And you tune. We used to have the speakers because I'm ancient, and you hang them on the window. And now you just tune your radio in, and they turn the trucks around backwards, and you can put a couch in there and totally go white trash. It's awesome.
We might have to stream because a lot of cars don't come with radio standard anymore.
I'd fall asleep every single time.
Pretty much that's a given.
Be in the station wagon.
Because you're so excited, and then you go play on the swings for a while, and you're swinging violently back and forth, and then you eat, and somebody spills something in the back of the car. My dad's yelling, and then we all pass out by the second feature.
Basically, yeah. Unfortunately, with this, you have to carry them back to the car.
Yeah.
My parents left me in the car one time.
What do you mean?
Well, and I was sleeping and stuff, and they just, well, I'll let them sleep. We'll come out and get them in an hour, and they forgot about me, and I was sleeping. And then I woke up in the morning in the back of the station wagon.
Oh, stiff going, this can't be right.
And when you're a kid, you don't care. You know, it was on blankets and air mattresses.
Oh.
That's the way my life went with my parents.
I guess that's fun. All right, we got to go to Global Headlines with Daisy. It's brought to you by Robert J. DeBry, Robert J. DeBry and Associates. If you need their help in a case of accident or injury, you just go to robertdebry.com. Executive Transportation, of course, one of the proud sponsors of the Big Thank You, taking you in one of those sweet Escalades anywhere you like for a highly affordable price. Go to Executive Utah to book. And then, of course, Black Diamond Experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Just go to blackdiamondexpert.com. Daisy, what's going on today?
Hi again, Todd and Erin. I want to go to a drive-in movie. We don't have those in England, so that would be very exciting for me. Here's a look at the headlines from around the world being featured on GebhardtDaily.com. A group of nuns whose order owns a strip of land in Pennsylvania where a natural gas pipeline is planned said that the $3 billion project violates their environmental beliefs. And that is why the sisters built a chapel on their land. The nuns told a reporter that stopping the pipeline is a religious cause. A spokesman for Transco, the company planning to build the pipeline, says he respects the nuns' right to protest, but is seeking an emergency court order to seize the nuns' land. A Ku Klux Klan gathering in Virginia over the weekend, organized to protest the removal of a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, drew about 50 KKK members and an estimated 1,000 people who showed up to protest the Klan. The counter-protesters were from Black Lives Matter and the Charlottesville Clergy Collective, and they easily drowned out Klan chants of white power with their own chant of racists go home. President Donald Trump said on Sunday he wants to move forward with working constructively with Russia, including forming a cybersecurity unit between the two countries. The idea drew immediate scorn from the less trusting Republican senators, including Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Graham said that partnering with Russia on cybersecurity is not the dumbest idea I've ever heard, but it's pretty close. That's it for this edition of World Headlines. For more news from around the globe and here at home, go to GebhardtDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
18 wheels and a dozen roses.
Hey, do you remember Kathy Mattea?
I
She
do.
was a big country singer,
I
early
do.
90s especially. 18 Wheels and a Dozen Roses. She's coming back to town. This is really cool. The reason I loved her, she was one of the very first people in the country music community that really came out and did a lot of fundraising and awareness for HIV.
Right.
Because back then, you remember in the early 90s, it was still like a lot of people didn't want to talk about it. But she was really passionate. She was a great advocate.
Where's she gonna
But
be?
anyway, we had a chance to catch up with her and talk to her about life on the road.
Going once, going twice, going far.
There's things that are hard about touring, obviously. You know, I hate packing, I hate schlepping, I hate being gone from home. I'm very much a homebody, but one of the real gifts of getting to spend most of my life on the road, most of my adult life, is that I've really gotten to see so much of the country and the world. So when people say Utah, I have a picture of it, and I know what the air feels like, and I know what the light is like. And when they say Arizona, I know what the colors are in the rocks. And when they say Northern California, I can immediately bring that to my mind. And I have experienced it firsthand, from the food to the people to the way the essence of the place is. And that's one part that I really love. The other part is that sooner or later, I roll into the town of everyone I ever knew, like all my childhood friends and my college friends and my post-college friends and people I've met along the way. I wind up getting to see them face to face because I wind up playing in their town and they come out. And that's been very, very sweet.
No, I'm just not myself when you're away.
That's so great. I love the 80s hair.
I know. I think she's really pretty now. Okay, if you want to catch Kathy Mateo tomorrow night, 8 p.m., she's going to be at the Kenley Amphitheater up in Davis County. Just go to davisarts.org if you want to pick up some tickets.
All right, coming up next, the cheer went across the beach and it said, fight, 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 fight.
This still sounds like some sort of a surreal beach movie to me from the 60s.
You have to say that 300 times. We'll tell you what it is coming up next.
Todd and Erin's Morning Stream, brought to you by Black Diamond Experts. Electric, plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. You'll be glad you called an expert. The law offices of Robert J. DeBry and Associates, with offices in Salt Lake City, Sandy City, and St. George. Check them out at robertdebry.com. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is actually available anytime at gephardtdaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page.
You know, I don't know if you've been downtown recently, especially by the Rio Grande area. Todd and I used to work down on 3rd South, and so we got to know the homeless folks that would sleep on the street. There were little alcoves and little cubbies everywhere.
And they had a routine, and so
Yeah.
we'd see them, and they'd see them get up, and they'd pack their stuff, and they'd go, and they'd get some food, and things like that. But
you know, we started checking. We kind of knew who was supposed to be there, and there were some really sad stories. A woman who passed out literally face first in the dirt planter in the front of our building, and I went out and sort of turned her over so she wouldn't smother while Todd called 911. But if you have gone down there, it's more like a war zone now.
on 5th West,
Or like a gigantic, like, Camp City. Because
between 2nd and 3rd South at 5th West, there's a medium strip of grass and trees, and it is wall to wall.
I mean, endless rows of tents and endless piles of things. And I felt terrible, too, because they had to come in and bulldoze a lot of it. And they put up signs and warnings. But watching people struggle with that was really difficult. But the problem is this. They say that it's a huge problem with drug dealing, prostitution, lewdness, disorderly conduct, violence. And this is because House Speaker Greg Hughes was talking about getting a homeless czar that could put some of this together because things have literally gotten so far out of control. They're picking up syringes there.
Now, also, to clarify, one of the issues that they're having is there's the homeless and the people who are in need, and then they're maybe dependent on drug and alcohols, and then the dealers come in and mix into them.
Yeah, there's the criminals who prey on them, and that's the point. And he said that too. He says we're not equating homelessness with lawlessness, but he said what we're seeing is this is a vulnerable population that's really getting preyed on.
Right.
And it's getting to the point now where the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, was like, we can't even keep up with how many problems we've got down there.
This is the feds?
They were actually recommending that we use the National Guard to help assist because it's that bad. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the next legislation because they're like, we've got to get somebody who's like specifically overlooks this because it's gotten so bad. But it's interesting. I had a friend who was telling me I got my bike stolen. I said, what are you going to do? And she goes, I'm just going to go down to Rio Grande and see if I can find it. And I went, what do you mean? Apparently, the gigantic rash of bike theft, because Todd and I live in the Avenues fairly close, they've tracked this back down relentlessly to the criminal element down there. And like this one girl, this is so frustrating. Brittany Hemingway, she had a $1,000 mountain bike, and she went down there and she circled around angrily with her boyfriend. She's like, I know it's down here. She actually recorded on her cell phone that, like, you stole my bike. And this guy's like, no, I didn't. And they tried to cover the bike with like a blanket, pretending like it wasn't there since you couldn't see it. So she literally took it back, and she says it's been stolen twice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're incredibly frustrated, but what the police are saying is, look, number one, if you have a bike theft, always make sure you register the bike's serial number. And you can do that at a police or a fire station if you've already purchased it. But, like, even when I bought Zozo's bike down at Smith's, they're like, let us register the number for you here. So almost anywhere in the state now where you buy your bike, they'll register it for you so they can track it better.
I would say your chance of getting a stolen bike back is about less than 1%.
That seems so unfair.
Less than 1%. And that's if someone locally stole it.
But in any case, they said, even if you do find it down there, don't confront them by yourself. You need to call an officer.
That makes
and have
sense.
them come down and help you. But it's true. I think for people, especially who haven't been downtown for a long time, you come down and it's stunning. It's frightening to see how gigantic this situation
And
has
they're
grown.
just starting to do the concert series down there at Pioneer Park, which turned out to be a huge success, more than they actually wanted.
Yeah, and a
you
lot
pay
of
tickets,
retailers
you
are-
go inside, security everywhere. But it turns out to be a real fun place to go when it's supervised.
Exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with, but it's exploded to a point where it's literally Salt Lake City police go, it's not containable. I mean, I'm sorry, but when the DEA says they can't contain it,
That's crazy.
you got an issue.
How did we do as far as misbehaving over the 4th of July?
I think there were
weekend.
like 50 fires from people, enthusiastic amateurs lighting off
Right,
fireworks, but there
right.
weren't like a lot of fights or anything.
Yeah, well,
it was more like fun stuff.
Michigan, the Grand Haven State Park. It's a beach.
Oh, it's gorgeous. They have all those amazing lakes there.
Sure, they're Superior Lakes, aren't they? So anyway, there's a little problem they had on the 3rd.
It's gorgeous.
They had a fight.
Oh, a couple of kids got into fisticuffs.
300
What?
people started fighting.
No, that's a brawl. Are you serious?
It's more than a brawl. It's an army war.
Is that almost like a flash mob? Of
You know what? No.
fighting?
You know what I picture? I picture this. I picture an old-fashioned saloon cowboy movie, right? Where some guy punches the other guy. He falls back, bumps into a guy
Knocks
who
into a guy
spills
playing poker, yeah.
spills his beer. And he goes, "Oh yeah!" And he punches some other guy who didn't actually make him spill his beer.
Is that basically how it just
That's
kind
a bar fight. That's saloon. In every saloon fight, it's always one guy trips, he hits the other guy. He didn't know it was him. Now he punches someone else. 300 people got into a fight.
Wow. I mean, seriously, that's a group of joiners. I'm impressed.
Let me ask you this. When's the last time you tried to organize 300 people?
For anything.
For a charity event, for a 5K run, for anything. You know how hard it is to organize 300 people, and yet 300 people got punched out at Michigan Beach. I just think you're right. They are joiners. They're
You know what?
people-
I'm prepared to jump in and volunteer my services or my fists in this particular case, or my beer can, or I don't know.
A saloon fight. That's what it was.
That's freaking hysterical.
All right. So this week, what are we going to do? We've got.
This is going to be a really fun week. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about bullies. There's a new study out that's really going to stun you, and we've got a local psychologist who's going to talk a little bit about what you're looking for with your kids, especially with online bullying. And the thing that's really sad about this study is your kid is most likely to be bullied by one of their friends.
By one of their friends. I read that.
Isn't that depressing? So we're going to be talking to them tomorrow and just kind of seeing what can we do. Also, of course, we've got all kinds of goodies coming up, and there is a rumor that we might be having some giveaways that involve keeping you much cooler than you are right now.
Why didn't anybody tell me about this?
It's a secret.
Why am I the last one to know?
Surprise. Big surprise.
What else do I need to know about?
Oh, honey. If we
All right.
tell you, you're just going to
All
forget
right.
anyway.
I'll get all excited.
We just like to spring it on you that
All right,
morning.
all right.
It's a surprise.
All right, so we are going to say goodbye, and we will see you tomorrow morning on the Todd and Erin morning stream. Thanks for watching, whatever time of day you are now watching us.
Exactly. And by the
And,
way, in a completely unprecedented interest in nature, our photographer, Richard, went to the mountains and he discovered
Bees. See ya.